Setting up a small-scale unit. After a brief introduction on entrepreneurship and looking at the basic skills required for running a business, now let us take a look at the steps involved in setting up a small-scale unit. What is a small-scale unit? In Indian context, an industrial undertaking in which the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 10 million is a small-scale industry unit. Steps to set up a small-scale unit. The various steps involved in setting up a small-scale unit are listed as project selection, technology and machinery, preparation of project report, arranging finance, unit development, getting 3 M's right, that is men, machinery and material, SSI, that is small scale industries, registration if required, approvals, clearances. Now, let us gain an understanding of each of the above mentioned steps. Project selection. Project selection begins with an idea. The overriding reason for anyone to think of establishing a SSI unit can be summarized in one word: opportunity. Opportunity to provide a product or service which can generate sufficient surplus. However, a number of questions must be answered and the various checks and balances need to be addressed for the project selection. Some of the more important ones are listed below. Does the idea fire up your motivation? Is it a viable business proposition in your area? Does it match the needs of your clientele? Check it out with basic market research. Test it out at marketplace. Consult with the experts. Look out for competition in the field. Is it a sunrise industry? Your business opportunity? Project conceptualization. Once the ideas are screened and a viable business opportunity emerges, the project has to be conceptualized in all its dimensions. The 4 P's of project conceptions are product, shape, size and nature, process, technology to produce the product, place, location of plant, partner, technological or financial collaborator. In the project conceptualization stage, while making a product choice, the following factors need to be considered: product line, depth, width, packaging, branding. Some other factors that one should consider while finalizing the product choice are ease of availability of raw material, process technology, accessibility to the market, incentive and support from government. Market information is also important for product selection. Once the product is finalized, choices of process technology emerge. Technology and machinery. While checking out on the process technology, the following things need to be considered with utmost care. Whether process requires very high level of skilled workers or complex machines. Whether process requires large quantities of water or power. Whether any process or product patent needs to be honored while utilizing the selected process technology. any special pollution or environmental regulations. Finally, the appropriateness of the Indian environment and conditions. One of the major deficiencies in small industry scenario is the prevalence of outdated production and management methods hindering the efficient operation of small-scale units. It is observed that the most important reason for the reluctance of the small industries to install modern machinery and equipment is the lack of investable funds. The National Small Industries Corporation (NSIC) provides financial, technical and marketing support to SSIs. Now the place and right partner have to be selected and project report has to be prepared. Preparation of project report has been discussed in previous lesson. Arranging finance. The next step is negotiating and arranging for finance. This aspect has been discussed in detail in lesson 11. Unit development. After deciding the issues of product and process, the next important question is where to set up the unit. For many small units, home is perhaps the best starting point provided the building laws permit it. Setting up an establishment requires negotiating a favorable plot or shed, purchase, organizing for proper construction of building, design of interiors, and finding good deals for equipment and machinery. Once an industrial plot for the unit is secured, then the next job is that the finding of suitable architect. Design of factory building has to be according to the type of industry and should have an appropriate plant layout. An architect's estimate of building construction is essential for loan applications. Further, architect's certificate for money spent on building is needed for disbursement of loan. Among the utilities of prime importance are power and water. In many cases, getting power connection causes delay in setting up a plant. Therefore, it is imperative to commence work on these aspects with diligent follow-up. Getting 3 M's right. The 3 M's are men, machinery and material. These are briefly described as men. Projections for manpower and staffing are made in the project report. However, it is necessary to time the induction of manpower in a planned manner. The required manpower must be available before the installation of the machinery. Machinery. Choosing and ordering of right machinery is also of paramount importance. Materials. Materials procurement and planning are critical to success of a startup with a unit. SSI registration. Small scale and ancillary units, those are undertaking with investment in plant and machinery of less than 10 million, can seek registration with the Director of Industries of the concerned state government. The registration schemes has no statutory basis. Units would normally be registered to avail some benefits, incentives, or support given either by central or state government. Approvals. Every unit has to comply with various regulations in force. These include regulatory, taxation, environmental, and certain product-specific clearances. If a small scale unit employs less than 50 workers with power or less than 100 workers without power, then it does not require any license from Government of India. Clearances. An entrepreneur has to obtain several clearances or permissions depending upon the nature of his unit and products manufactured. Regulatory or taxation clearances. These include registration under sales tax, excise, payment of income tax, park connection, chief inspector of factories, etc. Environment and pollution related clearances. The method of granting consent under water and air pollution to units has been simplified. Except for 17 critical polluting sectors including dye and dye intermediaries, in all other cases units will merely have to file an application and obtain an acknowledgement which will serve the purpose of consent.